What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. We're back with another informational video for you guys. We're back with another video that's going to help you guys improve your trading plan and overall just improve how you look at the market and improve how you trade the markets. All right. So this video is going to be about supply and demand areas. I've talked about supply and demand areas before, but now we're going to be talking about how to accurately spot the supply and demand area, and how to use supply and demand areas in the right way so you can actually know when to get into the markets and when not to get in the markets. There's times where you trade the market, there's times where you don't trade the market. If you guys want to join the Discord, there is a link in the description. Other than that, you could email me, you could hit me up on Telegram, or whatever you need to do. I also do one-on-one sessions. Okay, so just hit me up, email me, Telegram, Instagram, whatever you need to do to reach out to me. So you can also comment it down to whatever. So if you guys are interested, go ahead and join. Other than that, let's get into the video. Let me exit out this thing real quick. Alright, so first, before we get into supply and demand areas, we gotta know what a supply and demand area is. Okay, one common, the common mistakes of supply and demand areas. The first common mistake is support and resistance, right? Support and resistance. Okay, this here, this low here is not demand. This low is not demand, and this high is not supply. Okay, that is incorrect, right? The support and resistance thing that goes about supply and demand is not true. These are not supply and demand, okay? Also, another thing is, I know a lot of people like to trade the institutional levels. Let's see, let's say the 9,500, right? This is not an area of supply. This specific price line, this specific price is not an area of supply. You can't say that this price itself is a supply area. Okay, that's just not logical. Now the institutions might create a supply at this area, but it's not this specific 95 level itself. All right, that's some key misconceptions that you just gotta understand. All right, supply and demand represents buying and selling. Okay, so when demand is created, we know demand is created by an accumulation of orders. That's how demand is created into the market. An accumulation of orders, or you have a distribution of orders, which is a distribution, then you have an accumulation. Okay, those are representatives of supply and demand. And then you also have reaccumulation and redistribution. Okay, that's one key. Another way you can view supply and demand is by sponsor candles. All right, the sponsor candles that take liquidity, and you guys know sponsor candles, smart money and stuff like that. So you have those different type of ways of supply and demand. Okay, you have your accumulation of orders, and all this represents is that the banks and institutions are buying the market here. Okay, when you have accumulation of orders, banks are buying the market here. They're positioning their orders to buy the market. All right, this is an area of demand. All right, when you have supply, which could be up here, this is an area that the institutions are distributing their orders. Okay, so they are selling the market here, they're buying the market here. And then when you have these sponsor candles, you have the down move before the up move, right? Like a lot of people like to call it. I'm gonna do that. You have your order block. This is an area that right here that the institution sold to buy the market. So we could say that whatever was liquidity over here or something like that, and the market sold to buy. Okay, so the market will go up and then come back down, mitigate, go to the upside, right? And then vice versa for a sell, right? So this would represent as an area of demand. Actually, one more I forgot. I'm sorry, one more I forgot. I forgot the reaccumulation and redistribution. All right, so reaccumulation, redistribution is just a continuation of them buying the market, right? So you have reaccumulation comes out like this, market will continue to the upside, right? And then you have distribution going the opposite way, right? And the market continues down. So you have reaccumulation, you have redistribution. All right, and all of this reaccumulation is basically what it sounds like. It's a reaccumulation. It's a reaccumulation of orders. Instead of them accumulating, they're already in an uptrend, so they reaccumulate. And then downtrend right here, when you have a redistribution, they redistribute the market to the downside again. So these are areas of supply and demand, and then you also have the order blocks and decisional point of interest and sponsor candles, all that good stuff. Okay, so what I want you to get from this is only look for these areas, right? Only look for these supply and demand areas to get into the market when you're trading all of this. So we're gonna go over some charts now, right? Because that's the main point that I want to do right now. And right now we're on CAD JPY, right? This is a redistribution. This is exactly what I just showed you guys. That little whatever drawing that I did. This is a redistribution. Okay. Notice how once the market got up here, it stopped. Don't try to sell the market anywhere unreasonable, right? So we know that the banks redistributed orders here. So the next place that they come to, they're going to come and react off this area. Now, whether it be to continue the market down or to reaccumulate up, we don't know. But we have to, this is the area that we can look out for a potential move. Okay, and as you'll see, to the left right here, we had a distribution, right? We had a redistribution. Okay, how do we know this is a redistribution? Well, I drew it out. It's the same way. And what we also know as right here was a demand, right? We had a little demand here. All right, I talked about this before. We have demand. When the market comes to demand and it reacts, it moves, and then it continues down, this is a redistribution, right? This becomes our supply, okay? So when the market reacts off of demand and breaks the demand, this turns into supply. Okay, so demand turned into supply. All right, so basically what that means is the buyers here could not hold the market any longer, and the sellers overcame, and the sellers took them over. Okay, so once the market goes down and then goes back up, it's going to react off of that area, that supply, the new supply area that's made, and continue the market to the downside. All right, so what I want you to get from here is how to increase your win percentage, right? Trade these areas. Okay, look for these redistribution, reaccumulations, what else I would say? Reaccumulation, accumulation, distribution. Look for these areas. These are the high probable areas, and we're gonna go over some more. I'm gonna show you guys some more in how to correctly spot these. Cause I want you to be able to spot these, because that's all you need to do. All you need to do is be able to spot these areas, and then you go inside the area and you mark out your specific, precision area. All right, inside these. So currently, right now, we're reacting inside this redistribution. All right, so what do you look for once we get inside of here? Now, instead of taking the market, right, instead of taking a, what, I'll say that for another video, how to maximize your RR. I'll say that for another video for you guys, okay? That's going to be probably later this week. I'll upload that for you guys. All right, so, but what I usually look for when I get into these supply areas is I look for the same thing. I look for distribution on lower time frame, and then I'll take that, right? I'll look for them confirmation entries on lower time frame, and I'll take that. All right, if I don't get it, then there's different ways that we trade that. So GPCHF, right? Notice this chain of distributions, right? You have distribution, distribution, distribution. So this area itself is a high supply zone. This area itself is, this area means sellers are ruling this area, right? There's a lot of sellers in this area. So what do you expect is going to happen when the market reaches this area? It's going to sell, right? So we have distribution, react off of distribution. Distribution, react off of distribution. All right, so notice we accumulate down here, right? Now we have a reaction inside of our accumulation. So this area is an area of demand. These areas are areas of supply. So we have a high supply, right? And then we have a demand. This demand just formed. All right, the market moved away, came back, and reacted inside of this demand and bought, right? Notice how we bought towards the upside. We bought heavily towards the upside. But as soon as we reached the supply, the market crashed to the downside. This demand couldn't even hold anymore, right? Because the sellers are in control, right? The sellers are in control of this market, because as soon as we came up here, we have 3 distributions up here. The market obviously wants to sell. So as soon as we came up here, all the sellers attacked the market, and the market just melted. And then, it's like these demand, this accumulation never happened. That's basically what it seems like, right? Because they just took them out. So that's what I want you to understand. Understand to recognize supply and demand, right? When you recognize supply and demand, you won't get faked out by this. Who's in control of the market? Sellers are in control of the market. All right, so understand when we get to this area, you can't be looking for buys anymore because the sellers are still in control. Now, if we would have invalidated this area, then you could have been looking for buys, but we did not invalidate that area. All right, the easiest way to avoid losses is by spotting these supply and demand zones. Okay, spot these supply and demand zones. So when you get into supply, you know you want to sell. When you get into demand, you know you want to buy the market. All right, don't force the market in a direction that it doesn't want to go. That's basically what I want to say here. Do not force the market in a direction that it doesn't want to go. Go in your charts, find these supply and demand zones. All right, that's first step. Find these supply and demand zones. Next step, wait for the market to get inside that supply and demand zone. All right, once the market gets inside that supply and demand zone, trade it. Okay, look for that smaller time frame, confirmation entry, and look for that to sell or buy the market, whether it's supply or demand. And that right there, if you continue doing that, that will build your patience and your discipline. So instead of you just trading every order block or every candle you see, now you'll be waiting for those accurate supply and demand. So we're still talking about supply and demand, right? Now we're on GU. We're on GU, GBP/USD right now, and let's take a note of what's happening right now. The market previously reacted inside of this 12-hour demand. Okay. Now while the market was selling, I noticed this 12-hour demand here that was never tested, and we created liquidity above this demand area. All right. We came inside this 12-hour demand. We got a good reaction, right? This reaction led up to a 1-hour break of structure, right? This 1-hour leg that came to the downside, we broke that entire leg with this drop to the upside. All right, so because we broke this structure, we at least broke some type of structure. I marked this out as a demands area that the market could come into. Okay, so look what the market did. The market came down here. We ended up accumulating down here, right? And the market reacted out of this area well. Okay, so cool. Now on our way down, we created a redistribution, right? Okay, that's cool. So the market reacted off of demand, and now we're about to react off of supply. So what are we gonna do now? Now we're gonna see which one is going to win, right? We're gonna see, is this demand stronger than the sellers, right? Is these buyers stronger than the sellers, or are these sellers stronger than buyers? That's basically how you want to treat these markets. When you're looking for supply and demand, just mark out the areas and let the market do the rest. My next video I'm going to do for you guys, okay, we're going to go in detail and we're going to explain, how to maximize your RR. How do you maximize your RR? How do you get the best RR possible? And it's going to be using these supply and demand areas. So that's why I wanted to go over a short little video for you guys so you guys can understand what supply and demand it truly is.